Nervous moments.
Light blue of Cambridge on the right-hand side of your screen, the dark blue of Oxford on
And
the
it all builds up to this in the next 20 minutes or so.
Pressure is intense. Everything we've done is leading up to this moment.
Temperature has dropped.
Attention!
We were really, really excited to race, kind of show the world what we've been preparing for 7 months. All was really running smoothly. We were really, really happy with how the boat was going. We'd actually made so much progress in the last week before the race.
Off the start line, pretty good, decent start. Yeah, going into it, pretty happy. The first couple of minutes was good, really gutsy race.
They train and practice these starts over and over again. There are about 600 strokes in a boat race, but the first few are so important. And Oxford looked to have got off to a bright start.
And they picked up some momentum going up towards Harrods. They made the decision to cut in front into our water.
very, very aggressive.
And we had a plan that if they tried to cut in front of us,
Then I would call a move.
we had a meeting with the umpire earlier in the week. If they do this and we respond, will you disqualify them? And Matt Smith said, yes, if they cut in front of you, you hit into them, I will disqualify them.
I remember I was calling, this is it, this is your moment, we take them out now.
You called a massive push there.
Everyone absolutely committed.
This is our moment, this is our race, this is how we're going to win this year. This was going to be the race where in the past 100 years, a crew had been disqualified. There were so many emotions. We were hanging on for as many strokes as we could.
We were inches. I called them, I said, 2 feet, 1 foot.
Cambridge have got to move or they are in trouble, serious trouble. And they are going for it. They know this is a do-or-die moment.
If Oxford can bump Cambridge, you can have disqualifications in a scenario like that.
Never came.
Didn't happen.
6 in a row for the light blues.
The boat race is one of the oldest rivalries in sport.
Probably the best known rowing race in the world.
4.25 mile race along the Tideway in London.
From Putney to Mortlake.
High, fast water. If the wind's against it, gets quite rough.
We all know about the clashing.
It's a one-on-one, Oxford versus Cambridge. Been going on for almost 200 years.
One shot chance on that day.
The first challenge was in 1829. Victory is absolute, defeat is total.
The big one, side by side down the championship course for that long. Iconic.
The gravity of the event, the spectacle of it all. Most years you have Olympians who will leave the Olympic cycle and apply to Oxford or Cambridge.
I think it's only ever been cancelled for war, cholera or dysentery or something, and COVID.
We take thousands and thousands of stroke each week, sacrifice so much time for one moment, for one sort of 15-minute race.
And the first bow ball across the line wins.
Oxford hasn't won a women's boat race in 6 years. It's not looking good for us, and this really is the year we need to turn it around.
It's definitely that sort of absolute sort of head down focus in the fact that no, we are going to make a change here. We are going to make a change.
It's been 6 years since Oxford women have won our boat race. It's been 1 in 5 for the men.
We've not had the best run in the last few years. I mean, we're certainly not here to lose.
We've learned a lot of lessons. Last year was a particularly painful year to lose in.
I don't want to do it again.
This year we're going to turn the tide.
There's nothing that's clearer in our minds than trying to beat Cambridge in March.
We have to win this race.
day one, everyone's kind of a bit like a rabbit in the headlights.
We'll have lots of returners to the team, and then we'll have lots of new people, so there's some figuring out to do there for them and for us.
Some have been to the Olympics, some have learned to row at college, and you've got pretty much everything in between.
Get in the habit of taking the shoes in and out and putting...
There'll be new people coming into the programme, but many of those people we all again have been in communication with.
Glover. Have quite a bit of admin to do, especially with that many athletes that early on. We have things like headshots we all have to take. We all have sizing for all of our kit.
Oh, there it is. Oh no. What happened there?
Learning people's names, people are learning each other's names. You're trying to get crews out on the water. It's chaotic, to say the least.
Do you want to take tabbies? Erica, did you want to take tabbies? Yeah, thank you. So where is it at right now? Is these are, is it
I think, is he on a point right? Someone, are they all out? Can they all, or can you just usher them out?
Over time, over osmosis, people figure out what we want and how we're going to do it, and we're clear about some of those major boundaries, the things we want to achieve.
What the involvement in this club is, and what we're here to do, and to make sure that's very clear, make sure the athletes are really engaged with that process and bought into that.
The last sort of few years, particularly last year, have been really, really positive for the club. We've seen a huge amount of success. But obviously the challenge is to keep making steps forward, to never let things stagnate, never let things get complacent, keep finding ways to push the speed on.
We have had opportunities and we've grasped those opportunities, which has created a culture of winning. Taking advantages of mistakes made by your opposition that allowed us, certainly on the women's side, to explode into a really long winning streak.
It's really great to be on a winning streak, but I think it's really important that we continue to kind of push forward every year. Every year is just a new season. It's a new group of athletes coming in.
You don't start with a head start from getting the job done last year.
It would be pretty easy to kind of go away from that clean sweep and just think that, what we have is a kind of winning formula and slip into going through the motions.
Both sides have a unique challenge kind of in front of them.
I definitely feel more pressure after the loss. As a club, we're here to win. So I think, of course the pressure does build, and, life only gets harder if you're not winning.
So an added stress that the women from Oxford faced this year is that we didn't have a coach.
In June of 23, we heard that Andy was leaving.
The rumour mill was flying, as it always does in rowing, and I think that for us it was about continuing our training and getting things flowing and continuing as we normally would. And I can only imagine how challenging it must have been, but also I think that it was quite nice hearing things.
Even on bank holiday weekend in August, we hadn't fully confirmed who the coach was going to be, and it wasn't until the Tuesday morning that the season started that day that we were able to announce to the whole team that the head coach was Alan French.
The start of campaign meeting was something which was incredibly important to me. It was quite a close call. I think the birth of my second child, my son Henry, did come a matter of hours before that meeting. One of the first boat race specific events as part of it was the President's Challenge. Happened in London in November.
Every year, the president of the previous year's losing squad challenges the president of the winning squad to the boat race. And that generally happens in London in a kind of media event.
The President's Challenge is a weird one because it's the first time you see anybody from their team for that year. And often people will bring their recruits, people who they've brought in from US universities or anyone who has international experience. So it's almost the president's chance to be like, hey, look who I've got, and flex who they've got on their team. And so it's a bit of a weird night, but yeah, it's lots of intimidating handshakes and staring into each other's eyes, trying to be really intimidating and scary.
It feels like almost the start of the season. Of course, we'd been training for months up until that point, but that, I think, was the first time that it really felt real, that this was happening.
I think it's really important, and I quite like going to it. I think it puts the opposition, makes them real. They're there in the room with you, and the challenge makes the race real. So I like to go to that. I think it helps me as a coach. It puts you much more in the face of the opposition.
You feel like you're part of this historical thing, and you feel kind of the weight of that on you, more so than pretty much any other time that I've actually been a part of the race. A special moment, quite a powerful moment to be a part of.
This is the real start of, here's our team, here's what we're doing, and here's what you're going to have to deal with in March.
Once the challenge has been made and accepted, the race is officially on.
I think we always knew there'd be challenges, but I think this year in particular, I don't think we quite appreciated quite how many we would be facing.
Thought we were out of the woods, but we're not.
No.